Into you, Mr. Baker. What does that actually mean?
I think what Nick means is that this is a difficult time economically for us all. We're facing an enormous challenge. We need financial stability. We need parties to work together in the interests of the country. And if we have one of the old two parties managing to secure a majority of one or two in the House of Commons, using a base of 20–25% of the people who can vote to ram through a whole lot of unpopular policies, the consequence of that will be a large amount of dissent from the population at large, some unpopular policies pushed through, and the possibility people will feel they've been cheated.
Not all policies, though, are popular. Not all parties can only provide popular policy.
No, indeed, and we've put forward policies which are in the round, which are fully costed, which we think are the right policies for Britain. But we've also said, I think, that because of the difficult situation, we're prepared, if that's what the electorate says, and it's up to them what they say, we're prepared to work together to try to ensure that after the election we have a package of measures which is right for the country. And we don't want individual parties ramming through things like, say, the poll tax with the Tories did, or the war in Iraq with Labour, on the basis that they've got a theoretical Commons majority based on about a quarter or less of the number of people who could have voted.
So if you were looking at a hung parliament and you had influence, what would you do?
Well, if a hung parliament arrives, that's a matter for the British people. We will see what the result is, and we will try to use that position to get the maximum number of Lib Dem policies and the maximum influence for consensus and stability.
What are your main concerns regarding policies, if you had to choose maybe the top three?
Well, I mean, obviously we've set out our policies, one of which is to ensure fair taxation. Unlike Labour and the Tories, we're not going to favour multimillionaires. We're going to favour ordinary people who've been taxed quite heavily and deserve some money back. And our proposals on tax, for example, suggest that if you've no tax paid on income tax through a £10,000 threshold, and each person will be £700 better off. We've put education high on the agenda through the pupil premium, ensuring there's proper funding for primary schools in particular. And also we've got sensible policies on the environment, such as cancelling the third runway at Heathrow, and ensuring there's proper investment in the rail network. All our policies are there, they're in tune with the British people, and they all add up.
I don't know if you heard Ed Miliband earlier giving us what we think is probably a bit of a preview of the Labour manifesto, and he was saying that it's not going to be a big spending one because they simply can't afford it. You're all in the same boat, though.
Well, we're not in, I did hear about Ed Miliband, actually, because I'm an avid BBC watcher. But what I heard Ed Miliband say was going to rebuild trust in politics and we're going to rebuild the economy. Well, they've had 13 years to do that and they failed miserably on both those counts. And the difference between us and the other two parties is we're not hiding the bills till after the election. We're saying what the difficult decisions are now, such as cancelling Trident, cancelling ID cards and so on. We're saying where the money's coming from. The other two are still dancing around the handbags, unclear what they're going to be doing, and we'll find out after the election. That's not good enough.
Can I just ask you something? We have to be very brief on this. Lord Adonis earlier was calling on Liberal Democrat voters to vote for Labour in areas where they could cut out the Tories. Are you happy with that sort of call?
We're told by Labour politicians that they should have Lib Dems voting for them. We're told by Labour politicians likewise. I think people should vote Lib Dem because we've got the best policies wherever they are in the country.
Norman Baker, thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Time for the weather, and here's Dan Corbett.
And it looks like over the next couple of days the umbrella can probably stay in the back of the cupboard. Some fairly pleasant weather thanks to a ridge of high pressure. That's been the case